The 10 steps to grinding and gigging. Be the owner of something versus being owned by someone. How many times have we heard that? That's kind of the entrepreneurial theme. And I think more important ever than in the past, especially today, having control of your life, health, work, family, and moving the responsibility of your earning power back to yourself versus the old mindset of the employer has been a major, major shift since 2008. Not that entrepreneurialism has been around, in the last 5-6 years. It's been around forever, but just the thrust of new entrepreneurs and new businesses that have popped up since 2008 has been kind of staggering, and that's on a global basis. And I think the one thing to keep in mind is for those of you, maybe like me, my career went down the path of starting at Arthur Andersen, receiving a paycheck at that time, but it was an entrepreneurial environment with not just tax, but consulting and working with businesses. But during that time period, I went and got my master's degree, which of course, just like an MBA today, go get your MBA. And then the next thing you know, you're actually working for someone and helping them grow your business. Keep in mind, that's a lot of the MBA programs today, unless they have an entrepreneurial spin. And it's not for everyone. I'm not saying that everyone has to be an entrepreneur. But for those of you who are looking to do something where you have more control, short-term and long-term, and more control of your retirement, owning something does make some sense. So I worked big corporate, Arthur Andersen, and then many years at Aon, and very incentive-based to a certain degree, but there always was that paycheck. And I remember back in the early days when I started gigging on the side with various things. You don't have to go all in when you're gigging, but I started with just small tax practices, and it kind of built from there. There was always an area where I could move back to. So I would kind of highly recommend for those of you who are in a stagnant position, especially those of you who are around age 50 and you kind of say, well, I've been here long enough and I'm looking for my next opportunity. No matter what, in a lot of cases today, there is and almost a reverse discrimination. Age and dollars that are paid or whatever the salaries. It's a lot cheaper to outsource. It's a lot cheaper to get a controller versus another CFO to just run numbers. So be aware of that and know where your skill base is. So if you are considering something on the side, and I do recommend it, this is not a hope and pray internet strategy that we get all the time. How to make $1 million in the next 10 months. It is not that. It's a system I've used when I've coached new entrepreneurs, clients, and just, folks that I try to mentor and say, hey, have you ever thought of doing something on your own? And the first concern is, well, I'm not going to get a paycheck. I don't know how I'm going to handle it. Yes, it's an important component of it, but you do not need to go all in the beginning. You can go slow, and the benefit today of gigging on the side is look at your time management and see where you waste time. I do as well. We all waste time. And say, could you be a little more effective and try to build something that might generate revenue? And who knows, it could grow or not grow, that you might exit your employer sometime down the road. Okay, so it's just something to consider. So here's the 10 that I look at when I work with clients. And first time, full experience of looking at, oh my goodness, I got to try to get clients and I need to be able to provide some value to them outside my normal employer. The first one is list your skills that people think you might value, that they might value of you. And just go down the line. Things that you do, your hobbies, it could be writing, it could be music, it could be carpentry, graphics, whatever. Look at your skill base that people value. And that could be your current employer. And for those of you who are self-employed that are looking for another avenue for expansion, do a deep dive into your skills and see where there are gaps, but most importantly, where you can go to the marketplace and add a little bit of value. Simple, very simple. We all know, we've heard this 1,000 times. Next is list 3 of those skills. This is number 2. List 3 of those skills that you most enjoy, and more importantly, that you think you can actually make money with. It's one thing about trying to do something that you're passionate about, right? I'm passionate about running. I'm passionate about exercise. I'm using this as an example. But can you actually turn that into income? The idea of gigging is to actually make some money of something that you like to do and enjoy. And it has to be focused on kind of your skill set. I think most importantly in that second phase, when you look at those three skills, look and see what would it cost or what would you charge someone, an organization, whatever it might be. It might be doing resume writing for someone, and look at kind of the marketplace, and people, you might say, well, there's so many people doing that. There's too many platforms. But if you have great writing skills and you know how to write resumes the right way today, because it's very different than 20 years ago, very different. Or career counseling is very different. How to find person a job, all those things, is to look at the price point you could charge and run a P&L. If you do not understand anything about finance, understand a profit and loss statement. Today, just Google it. You'll figure it out. Income minus expenses, net profit. More than anything, understand financials. Very simple. You don't have to go crazy on it, even for a small gigging thing. The one thing I see a lot of times is individuals will say, I'm going to try to do some, let's use coaching. I'm going to do some coaching on the side, personal training. I'm going to take a course, and then I have some friends I've helped them get into running, lose weight, whatever it might be, health, fitness, and they don't understand a P&L, what your time is worth versus what you're charging, and are you actually really making money with it, okay? And it's not a get-rich scheme. Just make sure you're not losing a lot of money when you first start out. Third is very important. For those handful of individuals, close friends, colleagues, mentors, whatever it might be, for those of you who know me well, I'd ask you to reach out to me and ask this question. If they are very, very close contacts, ask them for three individuals, 3 different testimonials. This is not a reference letter. This is something from the heart that they say to you, basically to the public on a video is best, why they think you're great to work with or your skills or something of that nature, and how long they've known you. And it's not BS because, as we know, most references, I'm an employer and I hire people, all references, like anyone else, they're always going to be good. You're never going to give a bad reference. A testimonial is significantly much more deep dived, and it's also from the heart, as I said earlier. And I would highly recommend get 3 people that believe in you or organizations that believe in you. You might even have your current employer, as an example, provide a testimonial and do them on a video. And if you have a short synopsis on a Word document, that's as good. That's not as good, but it's nice to have both if you can. Some people just aren't interested in doing something via video and being on camera. They might want to write it. But if they ask you to write it for them, tell them you don't want to, because then it's just this, regurgitation of the same thing that everyone says. They need to say it sincerely. That's the importance, and to be honest with it more than anything else. Next, do a deep dive into your personal time. And everyone says, well, I don't waste time. I don't watch TV. I don't do all this. But look at your time management. I talk about this in the Chief Goals Officer book extensively. The top 20 time wasters I've seen with clients, myself personally, friends, family, you name it. And, being even married to my Greek wife as well, how much time the two of us waste in various things discussing what we might actually have for dinner during the week. So look at those blocks of time and just pull out an index card. I talk about it all the time, a simple index card, and look at your day. Find out where there are gaps in time where you're going to be able to apply a few hours a day. Okay, of course, you're working and you've got family and commitments, but you do need to commit consistently in a process X amount of days towards your new gig, whatever it might be. I think that's a real important component. Next that was number 4. Number 5 is to consolidate your entire list of business cards. Remember, we still get those, right? When someone gives you a business card, it's like, why are we still giving those today when we have the iPhone and we have all the smartphones? We can just email it back and forth. So, but plenty still have business cards, and it does make some sense from branding. But business card, smartphone contacts, Outlook contacts, everyone you know individually, you need to consolidate into one customer relationship management system. What is that? You could pick Outlook, you could pick Google Contacts, whatever it might be. Get them in one place. It's the one thing that I think many individuals, myself, it took a long time for me to get everything together of all the contacts, but take them and get them in one place. Most importantly, it's a great time to sift through the ones that you haven't seen in X amount of years, people that are deceased, whatever it might be, and consolidate your list down to a smaller group, not a larger group. Large numbers isn't always the best by any means. And it's also having a small number of quality friends, family, people that you actually connect with on a regular basis. Number 6, very simple. We know this one. If you're going to gig and do anything on the side, you do need to set up some type of simple landing page website, a very basic URL under your name. If you don't have the name available, use a hyphen, do something. But you've got to have at least a place where, even if you're just contracting for resumes, or you're doing editing, or you're doing music lessons, it adds a lot more credibility, and it has a place for you to put your testimonials, just some backgrounds of skills. And most importantly, it's not about you, right? It's not about us. It's about how we can help someone else. And that little simple 2-3 page landing page or website, a WordPress blog is fine, must show how you can help them or how you can teach them. So keep it simple. I think the great thing that when you're building a website or you're doing on your own or outsourcing, think of these things. We know them pretty common. Who, what, where, when, why, and how. If you can answer those questions very concisely, not pages of text, it'll be a lot easier for someone to just scan and see, is there something you might provide that could fill one of their needs, or more importantly, solve one of their problems, whatever it could be. I guess the next one is probably one of the most important, and that is grinding. What's grinding? Telling everyone in your CRM, your customer relationship, or your friends, family, everyone you know in that little CRM system you built, that you've started to do some gigging on the side, whatever it is. And you might name the business. You might not. It might just be under yourself. Depends upon the scale. And if you're starting originally to just gig, it should be small. So telling everyone, you can do that in a multitude of ways. Emails, voicemail, face-to-face combination. Number 8, subscribe to 2 websites that offer gigging opportunities for contractors, right? This is 1099 income. This is not W-2. You have to pay tax on it, of course, no matter where you are in the world, right? You earn income in any source, employer or non-employer, and specifically a contractor, you have to, of course, pay income tax on it. But more importantly, it is looking at some of the free sources like Fiverr. There's a whole host of these contracting sites where, you can bid on opportunities. Thumbtack, I like, is actually very, very effective for you can put in your skill base. In mine, for instance, it goes into speaking, coaching, tax, and financial advisory. And I get many leads that come through there, and you bid on it if it fits your skill base. So I think that's important. Pick 2 or 3 at the very most and follow them. Many are free. Many, it's a small fee, and then you have to keep the price points low. More importantly, how about giving away for free in the beginning? And you say, oh my God, I can't do that. If you want to establish credibility and more testimonials up front, do a few free things first, okay? And I think it does help to see if it's viable. And a great client testimonial is worth way more than a small, financial engagement that you might get for a consultant thing or whatever it might be in the very beginning. So keep that in mind. Number 9, establish the business of gigging in value going and being very persistent, but giving value proposition and ideas on 2, maybe 3 social media channels. How do you build up your following? How to build your tribe? You know that. There's a gazillion of them. Every day there's another new social media aspect of it. But unlike years ago where we advertised, it was hard to get customers, you're cold calling, you can still do those things, and you can actually separate yourself from the rest because everyone does it the same way, is look at 2. What are the 2 big ones right off the bat? You have to be on Facebook. No, even if you don't like it, for business purposes, connect with people that are in your space on Facebook. And it might not be your uncle and your aunt. This is for business purpose of your new gig. And then the other one I would highly recommend is YouTube. More than anything else, you can go on Twitter and Instagram, depending upon whatever aspect. But there is tremendous power in a face-to-face seeing someone talk on video. And I don't know what the numbers are today of how many subscribers are on YouTube, how many people go on YouTube. But anytime you type into Google, how do I fix a flat tire on my bike? What comes up? Usually through Google, a video is usually one of the two or three first search items. So get familiar with YouTube. I think those are the two I would recommend right off the bat. Okay, in addition to your little website. The others regarding your brand, what's your brand? Your brand is what people think of you as. Okay, introvert, extrovert, someone who does lots of things, someone who's a reader, whatever it might be, all around that gigging that you're looking to do. Your brand is all of that. And the secondary components are letterhead and business cards and all the other things. They are important, but it's your story and your promise to a future customer that's going to buy something. That's the brand. So it takes time. But with all the various channels that we have today, it does not take a long time to actually change your brand or enhance it. And I work with a lot of clients, and that's a big, big component. We sit down through and you do a deep dive and you put a plan. We walk through a plan. No different. You can do it on your own. What's my plan of building my brand? And it's something that you need to be relentless on, and it's part of that grinding process. So, of course, these are 10 basic steps. And again, real quickly, skills that people value is number one. Pick 3 of those that someone would be open for you to have a conversation that they think you would really do it for them for free. Okay, so it's something you got to be passionate about, but there has to be a revenue source behind it. And understand a P&L statement. Number 3 video testimonials would be best. Number 4, deep dive into your personal time wasters and find out where you can spend time. This is not a get rich, as I said earlier. You have to spend dime per day, no matter what it is, to get gigging opportunities. Number 5, consolidate a list of all your business cards, your contacts, Outlook, all of that. Build a established CRM. Number 6, do a simple WordPress website. Who, what, where, when, why, how. Explain that as short as you can. Not a big menu box. Keep it simple. Stupid, right? You got to keep things simple. Number 7, grind and tell everyone in your CRM what you're doing with your gigging. Number 8, subscribe to 2 websites for gigging or contract work. Okay? Building websites, whatever it might be. There's plenty out there that's free that you can bid on opportunities. Number 9, establish 2 social media channels. My recommendations, Facebook, YouTube. You can pick other ones, of course. If you're selling leather products, yes, you should be on Instagram. But do not discount the value of Facebook and YouTube. And I'm not talking about buying advertising and things, but just being prevalent in both of those channels. And then number 10, build your brand with your story and your promise to that potential customer. And more importantly, business cards, letterhead, and all that all goes as well. Last couple things that I always like to highlight. Number 1, if you're gigging or your goal is to eventually become self-employed, you have to have extreme discipline. I don't know any self-employed individual that is not disciplined. And the easiest way to build discipline and to eliminate procrastination, is to build it into a daily system. Every single day you do the same thing over and over and again. It's like running a race. You do the same thing. You know how many times you need to run per week or whatever it might be. You have to do that because there is no shortcut. And every time I hear someone say they're going to hack a system, we're going to hack this, shortcut that. Yes, there are opportunities, but they're very small, and in every scenario, you are in a lot of cases worth having more traction and a long tail to your business. Do things without trying to hack everything. Okay, the new term of our day. Next, sell. More than anything else, if you're starting a gig on the side, it is about selling. You have to sell the service, you have to sell your value, but it is about revenue. You have to generate income. Don't just do it for fun. If you do it for fun, it's a hobby, and there's nothing wrong with that. But understand there's a big difference between doing something for passion, right? And I'm reaching out to all the people who ask me all the time, well, I want to be a fitness coach. Great, because you like to work out all the time, and that's a great thing. But how do you actually turn that into profitable streams of revenue? You've got to deep dive on how to sell, right? And at least be a great storyteller on how you can help someone. Think small first, and beyond anything else, if you really want to do it, don't ever give up. Just stay with it and just take it small. You might get to the point where you say, I don't ever want to leave the employer, which is okay. You've got benefits, you've got different programs, but 9 times out of 10, when you hit the age of 40, the question will start going through your mind, do I really want to keep doing this? And maybe you still get jazzed about it, but maybe there's an opportunity to blend some gigging on the side, and who knows, it might turn into something where you leave your employer. So I'm not recommending it's for everyone, but if you want to own something, start small, grind, and gig. Any questions, of course, feel free. We have an entire coaching program related to this. I don't want to get into a whole sales pitch for you, but each one is different. And I think more than anything else, it's about looking at your own skill base and saying, do I really want to try to do this? So happy gigging and grinding.